Your team every day.
What's good, Wizards fans, and welcome to the Locked On Wizards podcast. This is your host, the real Ed Oliver. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Locked On Wizards on YouTube. We are now on YouTube. Make sure you hit that notification bell for YouTube as well. Make sure you subscribe wherever you can find a podcast. We got preseason, man. Preseason's on. It's here. Basketball is here. It's almost here. We're talking about preseason, not a game, but we're talking about preseason. I just want to thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. But tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern time, we do play the Houston Rockets. The game will be in Houston. 8 o'clock, it will be on NBA League Pass. So if that's where you're trying to watch the game, the game will also be on the radio. I don't think I've listened to a game on the radio in a long time, to be honest with you. But it is going to be on Team 980. If you don't have NBA League Pass or anything like that, you can listen to it on the radio. So if you want to get some Wizards basketball, I know I'm thirsty for Wizards basketball. I'm just thirsty for basketball. There's basketball on tonight, so I'm just happy about that. Basketball and football tonight. I can't ask for anything else, but that's just awesome. So I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm going to talk about things that I want to see from the Washington Wizards from in the game tomorrow. I don't know exactly. I don't know. Wes Unseld Jr. did not announce if Bradley Beal is going to play, because we saw with some other teams. You saw the Lakers. LeBron didn't play, but Anthony Davis did play. Russell Westbrook didn't play for the Lakers. So James Harden didn't play for the Nets. Kyrie didn't play for the Nets when the Lakers played against the Nets last night. So we'll see if our stars will play, or Bradley Beal will play, or Dinwiddie coming back from the ACL injury. He did announce that Deni Avdija will not be playing. He did play on 5-on-5 today in practice, which is a great sign. He said that Deni most likely will be playing in the preseason game on Saturday against the Knicks, if I'm not mistaken. But Deni will not be playing for precautionary reasons, just getting him back in shape and getting back ready to play and fully healthy. But I'm expecting a lot of guys to play. I'm expecting Kuz to play. I'm expecting Montrezl Harrell to play. I do think Dinwiddie's going to play. I'm excited to see what he can do. I do want to talk, and also I want to go over Bradley Beal's press conference, Wes Unseld Jr.'s press conference. There's some news in those reading and reacting from things that I thought stood out from their pressers today. I thought they said some important stuff leading up to the preseason game in this upcoming season. And then I just want to preview the matchup against the Rockets. The Rockets got some good guys on their roster. They got some go-getters. They got some young hitters on that team. It's going to be a good game. I know it's just to get better. It's, no real winner or loser doesn't count or anything like that. But this is a good team. I wouldn't call it a measuring stick or anything like that, but it's a good test for the young guys. It really is. It's a good test for these young guys. You got some hungry guys, Jalen Green on that roster with the Rockets, but it should be a fun game. I'm interested to see how the rotations are. And like I said, I'll go over 5 or 6. I'll do 5 things that I'm looking forward to in this preseason game. But Bradley Beal said something very interesting today in his presser, and I got a reaction on social media. Some goals that he set for himself. I'm happy about that. Spencer Dinwiddie set some goals for himself on a presser earlier in training camp. So Bradley Beal set the goal. I'm going to read the quote that I found, or paraphrasing from what he said today. He mentioned that he wants to he lists MVP and first team all defense as accolades he's got on his wish list, but adds that his biggest goal / challenge is leading a team through the playoffs and winning games. These are all the things that I want to see Bradley Beal do. Now, making all NBA defense, is it a far-fetched goal? I wouldn't say it's a far-fetched goal. I think Bradley Beal was a solid defender, and he talked about that in the presser. He said, when he first came to the league, he was a good defender, and he had slippage. He said Wes Unseld Jr. was disappointed in Bradley Beal that defensively he hasn't been as good as what he was in his earlier years. And with Randy Whitman, who I think was a good defensive coach. Scotty Brooks struggled defensively. We were pretty darn bad when he was the coach. Defensively, rotations were bad. Lineups were bad. Just defensively, we struggled. We really struggled in Bradley Beal. He had a bigger workload with scoring the basketball. He had to score more points and didn't have a lot of help defensively. We didn't have the best personnel defensively either, but, he didn't want to make excuses about that as well. Wes Unseld Jr. is a guy that is going to challenge Bradley Beal defensively. The personnel should help him out defensively as well and offensively to take more pressure off of Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal talked about this a lot, just other guys that should help take pressure off of him offensively. He won't be playing on ball. He'll play more off ball. He'll be more of a shooter, have more catch and shoot opportunities. And Wes Unseld Jr. also talked about keeping Bradley Beal fresh. getting him ready for the fourth quarter, limiting his minutes in each half. We'll see how that does work out for Bradley Beal. But to get back defensively, we want to see him lock in. USA team, talked about in the Olympics, even though he only got to play in 2 or 3 games and they lost. Basically, they went 1-2 where Bradley Beal was there. They might have lost both games. I think Bradley Beal, I can't remember whether he played 2 or 3, but all that aside, he was supposed to be the defensive stopper on that USA team. And you saw him against Nigeria. You could see the look in his eyes, the stance, the effort that he was giving defensively is what we want to see for the Washington Wizards. We want to see him play, give the maximum effort. The effort that he gives offensively, we want to see him do it defensively. I think he'll be more capable of doing it because he will have more help offensively and shooters around him, more guys that can create for themselves. Aaron Holiday, Spencer Dinwiddie, Raul Neto, KCP, a great 3-and-D guy. Kuzma's a good defender. And Rui's a good defender. And you got Gafford as a great rim protector. We were better defensively when Gafford came on the team last year. Dramatically, our defensive team rating jumped when Daniel Gafford was on the roster. So MVP, we'll see. He's going to have some stiff competition. Giannis, Kevin Durant, LeBron, Steph Curry, Luka, Trae Young. Those are all the Joel Embiid. Those are all the guys that are going to be competing for MVP. So he's going to have some stiff competition. And, of course, you got to win games. You got to win games. You got to be at least 5 or 10. You got to be at least 10 games over 500, in my opinion, to be considered for most valuable player. But I love that Bradley Beal setting goals. I want to see him attain them. Like I said, he does have that big contract coming up, which 100%. A team is definitely going to give him 5 years, $242 million. That's no question, no ifs, ands about it. He's getting that deal. I highly doubt he signs the extension. And I'm not pocket watching, but it's something that has to be talked about with the Washington Wizards. We're going to give Bradley Beal that big deal. And if he does come up and get all defense, of course he deserves that deal. I think he's earned something like that, a 5-year, $242 million deal. I think he has earned that. Being all NBA and being an all-star starter, being a top 15 player in the league. And the playoff thing is huge. I want to see him be the best player on the team and lead a team to the playoffs and be a competitive team, not just a 4-1 gentleman sweep, not just a 4-0 sweep, but I want to see Bradley Beal be the best player, the alpha dog, the Batman to a team and lead them and be competitive in the Eastern Conference. At least make it to the second round. Give somebody some go in the second round as well. Not like I said, not a sweep, not a gentleman sweep. So I am intrigued to see that from Bradley Beal. Any more notes that I have on him? Like I said, he talked about his minutes. Doesn't want to be on ball. Wants to be off ball more. He gave praise to Jalen Green for the Rockets. Called him a hooper. Also said that he loves Raul Neto. He calls him the Wolfman. And Raul Neto played at the 4 last year. He did. And he said Raul Neto's been killing it in practice. He's good and crafty, and another year with him is going to be great. Also talked about Spencer Dinwiddie. Getting to the basket in practice. He has a quick first step. He's a very patient ball player, very versatile. And talks about Spencer Dinwiddie's height as well, how versatile he is. And I do want to get to Wes Unseld Jr.'s presser next, and then I'll name 5 things that I want to see from in the preseason game and preseason as a whole. I'll just preview preseason as a whole. Before we get to that, this episode is brought to you by DirecTV Stream. Does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows. You're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you got your neighbor's best friends log in for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract, so get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. This episode is also brought to you by Shopify. You can reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Even though Facebook and Instagram was down, it's back up now, so you guys can use that. Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. This is a possibility powered by Shopify. Go to shopify.com/LockedOnNBA, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/lockedonnba right now. Shopify.com/lockedonnba. Shopify is more than a store. Connect with your customers, drive sales, manage your day-to-day business. Shopify instantly lets you accept all major payment methods. Shopify has thousands of integrations and third-party apps, from on-demand printing to accounting to advanced chatbots to and beyond. Supercharge your knowledge, your sales, and your success with Shopify. Thanks again for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. So Wes Unseld Jr., he has some interesting things to say as well. Talked about Deni not playing in preseason tomorrow night, which I can't wait. So David Aldridge asked Wes Unseld Jr., who are the talkers on defense? There was a lot of talk. You just hear this throughout all the press conferences, even the closing press conferences. A lot of the guys on their exit interviews. Davis Bertans said it. I want to see even Garrison Matthews, who's not on the roster anymore. He said something along these lines that the team did not communicate defensively last year, and that's a huge part of why we struggled defensively last year. Wes Unseld Jr. has been continuously asked about communication. He's continuously talked about talking on defense, communicating on defense, holding other guys accountable, but, calling out your teammates, but in a respectful manner. Wes Unseld Jr., he just sounds like the nicest guy that I've ever seen as a coach. Before, he's so chill, he's so lax in the press conferences. Just an intelligent, smart guy, but he's just a chill guy. KCP said it as well. But you can just tell that he demands excellence. He demands defense on the end. Right now, we are in the honeymoon phase of Wes Unseld Jr. and also the new Lakers guys and Spencer Dinwiddie. So I do want to see these guys in the heat of battle. I do want to see, right now it is coach speak, stuff like that. I do want to see the hype with the defense. I want to see the improvement. Like I said, I love the personnel. I think we do have better defenders, guys who are going to get down in the stands and have better lateral movement than what we did last year, especially at the wing position. But David Aldridge asked Wes Unseld Jr., who are the talkers on defense? And Wes basically said everybody, but he named three guys. He named Kyle Kuzma, he named Montrezl Harrell, and he named Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal stepping up and being that leader. I'm happy to hear that from Kyle Kuzma as well. Montrezl Harrell, who held the players-only meeting as well. So I'm happy to hear that. These guys are talking on defense, and the young guys are following behind and getting behind these guys. So I do want to see the rotations in preseason. I'm intrigued to see that. And if they, not one preseason game is going to be, oh my gosh, these guys are just so much better defensively. Preseason is preseason, so you can't take too much stock in it, but it can be telling. It can be a preview for what's to come in the regular season, of course. Another question for Wes Unseld Jr. was how big of a strength is their front court? And I love this question because I love our front court. I love the depth that we have. Even with Thomas Bryant not being available right now, I love the front court depth that we have right now. With Daniel Gafford being the starter, Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench. I think these are two guys that can play above the rim and finish strong and finish hard. High energy guys. Montrezl Harrell's a high energy guy. You see him in practice with the putback dunk where he did. He's been hanging on the rim and doing pull-ups on the rim after he dunks, just showing him dominating in the paint. But Wes Unseld Jr. said Gafford will be a dynamic young player. They have three bigs who can start and come off the bench. Many at times will play together. So that is intriguing for me. For me, honestly, I love our big men, but I really don't want to see these guys play together. But if they do, I am intrigued to see it. Thomas Bryant and Daniel Gafford playing together. Thomas Bryant can stretch the floor. Daniel Gafford's not much of a shooter, but he's a great defender. Somebody did ask this. I think it was Wes Unseld, Secret Weapon Unseld Jr. on Twitter. It's a funny name, but he brought this up too, having Thomas Bryant be the 4 and Daniel Gafford be the 5. Personally, I don't like it because I don't want to see Thomas Bryant really guard 4s, stretch 4s. They can put the ball on the floor and take it to the cup. Jason Tatum will play the 4 sometimes. Jaylen Brown will play the 4 sometimes. Gordon Hayward will play the 4 sometimes. So I just think it's a mismatch. Kevin Durant plays the 4 sometimes. So I personally don't like that matchup. Sometimes even Chris Middleton will play the 4. Personally, I don't like that. Tobias Harris played the 4 a lot in the playoffs. Maybe Thomas Bryant could go out there and move his feet against Tobias Harris. But personally, I still don't like the matchup. So that's why I didn't like it. So I am kind of want to see how West does. Is he really going to go out there and put Thomas Bryant and Montrezl Harrell on the floor at the same time? Now, they could be the Bash brothers and just, bully guys in the post, but you got to think about it defensively as well. So I am intrigued to see if he does do a lineup like that. It will be interesting. I forgot to say one quote from Kyle Kuzma that does vouch for Bradley Beal, does kind of give him some points towards possibly getting MVP. I don't, like I said, it's a tough. I want to see the betting odds. We could check it out on Bet Online if they do have the betting odds for MVP. Like I said, probably number one is probably going to be Giannis, then Kevin Durant, and LeBron. After that is probably Steph, James Harden, Luka Doncic, Trae Young, guys like Bradley Beal might be top 10. Joel Embiid, like I said, is probably top 4, top 5. So I do want to see the odds on that. Paul George without Kawhi Leonard. Paul George is going to be in there too. I think he'll probably be in the running since, like I said, since Kawhi is not going to be there. I am intrigued to see who else is going to be in the betting odds for MVP. But to get back to Kyle Kuzma had an interesting quote. He said, Bradley Beal makes the right play, and that's really important for winning basketball. I see it all the time, especially playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis. If they wanted to, they could come down the court and score every single time if they wanted to. But understanding your teammates and whatever the right play is in front of you, that's the most important thing. And he does that. So to be mentioned with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, that's high caliber players. Those are guys that potentially could be MVP candidates for Kyle Kuzma to get Bradley Beal that much praise, high praise is a good sign. So I'm going to vouch here for Bradley Beal possibly being in the running for MVP. If the Wizards go 50-32, then that's where he can be MVP. So that's what he has to do. He has to lead the Wizards to 50 wins. Like my guy on Twitter, new only breaks. His bold prediction was 50 wins for the Washington Wizards. We'll see. We haven't got 50 wins since 1979. But, we'll see on that. I think that's the only way that Bradley Beal could possibly be MVP and set that goal for himself and attain it. So, but those are basically it. Wes Unseld also talked about Raul Neto. He did reach out to Raul Neto before free agency after Wes Unseld got hired. Talked about how competitive Raul Neto is. He gives a different look. He had a great play against the Nuggets as well. That caught Wes Unseld Jr.'s eyes. And Raul Neto's always going to compete, make winning plays. Like I said last year, he played the 4-man at times. Played the 1, 2, 3, and 4 position. Scotty Brooks loved that 3-guard lineup, and Raul Neto had to step up and do that. Told about it's a Mr. Make league, but we gotta force misses. Wes Unseld Jr. is a defensive-minded coach. 80%, 20% that first day of training camp. 80% defense, 20% offense. So I'm excited to see how Wes Unseld Jr. does here. So let's get into 5 things that I do want to see from the Wizards tomorrow night and just throughout preseason, just seeing development, player development, different things like that. I just want to see improvement, just something different, energy. I just want to see energy. But before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by BetOnline. My Washington football team got a dub on Sunday. We are 1-point underdogs against the New Orleans Saints. I want to see the over/under for that game. Let me look at the over/under real quick so I can help you guys out with this betting. I was wrong last week because I picked the under, but since Washington, they're so bad defensively. The Saints aren't that great defensively either. They let Daniel Jones get 400 yards, so that's pretty darn bad. The over/under for this game is 44.5. Oof, I'm gonna go with the under again. Even though both defenses are terrible, I'm gonna go with the under again. 44.5. That's my bet right here. Like I said, you can come to the comment section on Sunday night when I make the Locked On Wizards video. So we'll see what happens. But Bet Online, make sure you guys check it out. Get all the latest news, odds, and info for all your sporting needs, including NBA and the NFL. Before the next pitch, head over to Bet Online on your laptop or mobile device and check out all the great sporting news, sign up bonuses, and contest information. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore, as this is your chance to get into the game as teams prep for their runs to the playoffs. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts. The promo code is Locked On. All right, so 5 things I want to see. I want to see they talked about talking and communicating so much, and Wes said they're not going to switch screens this year. I want to see how they defend. I want to see how they defend the screen and roll. I want to see players fighting through screens. I want to see how they do the drop coverage on the screen. You look at Nikola Jokic, how he defended the screen. He did a great job doing that. Daniel Gafford being a shot blocker. I want to see how they defend screens. Like I said, 80% defense, 20% offense in practice. I want to see how that's been instilled in the games. I want to see how these players move their feet and can they defend without fouling. Next, I want to see Spencer Dinwiddie. He was the prized free agent acquisition, 3 year, $62 million deal. $1 championship bonus. I want to see how this guy does, man. He was the big free agent get. Tommy Shepard was excited about that. Tommy Shepard said in the press conference that showed that the Washington Wizards are able to attract free agents. That's debatable still. We're still not getting the top 10, top 20 players, but Spencer Dinwiddie is a good get. I think by the end of the year, he'll be a top 50 player with the Nets. He averaged 20 points and 7 assists, can get to the free throw line, can boogie on you, can score, can get a bucket, can control the pace. Bradley Beal gave Spencer Dinwiddie praise that he's not a ball dominant guard. He's not like John Wall. He's not like Russell Westbrook, where he said guys can actually get a rebound. Kyle Kuzma's gotten rebounds in practice and has brought the basketball up. Other guys have gotten the ball and brought the ball up. So that is interesting. We already know with Russell Westbrook that's not happening. You knew with John Wall that wasn't happening. You knew if you got a rebound, you're immediately giving the ball to John Wall. You're immediately giving the ball to Russell Westbrook. And that's not the case with Spencer Dinwiddie. He can play off ball more than what Russell Westbrook did. He can shoot the three better. 37% from the three on catch and shoot opportunity. Now, pull up threes is where Spencer Dinwiddie struggled, but catch and shoot opportunities where Spencer Dinwiddie was better. Shooting the ball from the three-point line. Bradley Beal did mention that he wants to shoot deeper threes. I want to see that as well. I don't 100% agree with that, shooting deeper threes, but hey, it is what it is. If that's something he wants to get better at, Damian Lillard was capable of that. That is unguardable. If you are able to shoot a three from basically the logo at a high clip and consistently like Damian Lillard does, then that does make you essentially unguardable. Bradley Beal basically is unguardable at the moment, right now in the league. Second in the league in scoring. So if he is able to consistently hit a deep three, then he basically is unstoppable from the offensive end. Like I said, I want to see Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm intrigued to see him. I want to see him as a leader. I want to see him as a floor general. I want to see him in space, how he can create a bucket for others. Playmaking, he's a great playmaker. Him and Daniel Gafford with that pick and roll. Him and Montrezl Harrell with the pick and roll. I want to see Daniel Gafford. Spencer Dinwiddie. I really want to see him play. I'm excited to see him play. I want to see some of the lineups. I want to see the rotation. Rui's not there, but I want to see who starts. I want to see if KCP is capable at playing at that small forward position. I think he's more of a two guard. I think he's better suited as a backup to Bradley Beal. I want to see Gafford start. I want to see the energy. I want to see if he improved in his post moves a little. I want to see if he developed a 10-foot jumper. I want to see if he developed a face-up move, a hook shot, a jump hook. I want to see if his stamina, if he's really in shape. I want to see this guy play more. He's not going to play more than 20 minutes in preseason, I bet. But I want to see if he improved on the things that we talked about. Is he not going for the pump fake, the Joel Embiid slow pump fake? Christian Wood, if he plays, he's a good player. He can make plays like Christian Wood shoots threes. Can Daniel Gafford step out and guard stretch fives? Is he capable of doing it? I think he is, but you cannot go for that slow pump fake. I want to see him catch lobs. I want to see Montrezl Harrell. I'm probably going to do 10 things that I want to see. But Montrezl Harrell, I want to see the energy. I want to see the talk. I want to see him walk the walk. 6th man of the year in 2020. I want to see him do his thing. I want to see him be that junkyard dog that he is. Rui, unfortunately, will not be playing. I really wish he was playing. I really want to see him play in his 3rd year. I want to see him make that leap. Deni's not playing. But I just want to see that. I want to see the pick and roll down Gafford. I want to see the pick and roll with Montrezl Harrell as well. Also, I want to see ball movement. I want to see how the offense, what kind of offensive system Wes runs. It is preseason, so it probably is going to be vanilla basketball. I want to see ball movement. I want to see passes. We were ranked 27th in passes per game. The Bucks were ranked in the bottom 5 passes per game because, everything ran through Giannis. So that's understandable. So it's a stat that doesn't look good because, all we did was ISO, Robin Lopez, hook shot, Bradley Beal, ISO, Russell Westbrook, ISO, Rui maybe shoot a jumper here and there, mid-range jumper. That was basically our offense last year. I want to see more handoffs, more screen and roll, different things like that. I want to see Davis Bertans. Is he in shape this year? Last year wasn't in shape. I want to see is he in shape? Is he in good shape? I want to see the training camp battle between Raul Neto and Aaron Holiday. I want to see how these guys, because they're both go-getters, they're both scrappy guards. And then, of course, I want to see the guys who are fighting for 2-way contracts. Cassius Winston, Isaiah Todd, Jamie Echenique, Jay Huff out of Virginia. The other young man that we signed, I can't remember his name. I got to look at the roster real quick. But I want to see those guys. I'm pulling up the roster here real quick. Jamie Ishinique, Jordan Goodwin, my guy Jordan Goodwin out of St. Louis, who was on the show a couple weeks ago when he worked out for the Wizards in the draft. Isaiah Todd, Jordan Shackle. I want to see these guys who are fighting for G League spots and two-way contracts. I want to see how these guys play because they're going to get good minutes. Cassius Winston, they're going to get big minutes in these preseason games, so watch out for them. Corey Kispert, the rookie, the 15th pick of the draft. I want to see him cutting. They raved about him cutting in practice and getting open. I want to see how he plays with the basketball in his hands, putting the ball on the floor. He struggled in the summer league, and he had some good games. He had one good game in the summer league, and he struggled for the most part. I want to see him play with guards who can create shots for him and who are looking for him and who are looking for him off screens and pin downs and different things like that. They've raved. Bradley Beals raved about Corey Kispert's ball handling in practice. So I want to see that in this game, in these games coming up. Like I said, these last guys on the bottom of the roster fighting for a spot. That's what I want to see. And that's really it. But I will go over the Houston Rockets roster just so you guys can be familiar with these guys. They got this guy, the DJ Augustine is on the Rockets. They got this guy named Armani Brooks. This man is a shooter. He can shoot the lights out. He shot at a high clip last year. He's a guard. He's about 6'4", 6'5". Watch out for him tomorrow night. He's going to shoot the lights out, I'm telling you. Hopefully not. Hopefully our defense steps up and they know who the shooter is. Josh Christopher, Jay Gupp, he's a guy that I loved in the draft prospects, and the draft combine leading up to the draft. I think he's a baby. I think he's Nick Young Jr. He's out of California as well. I mean, he's been known in the AAU circuit for years and years, and went to USC, played for Arizona State. Was a one and done at Arizona State. The Rockets have Dante Exum as well. They got Usman Garuba, who was a highly touted draft prospect out of Spain. Eric Gordon. We already know about Eric Gordon. He's a lethal scorer. He might not play. Daniel House, Jalen Green, of course, second pick of the draft. He's always talking about he's mad about not being the first pick of the draft. Kenyon Martin Jr., Kenyon Martin's son. This guy can jump to the moon. They got some athletes on the Rockets. They have some athletes and a half. These guys can jump to the moon. David Nwaba, he can jump to the moon too. He plays like he's jumping on a trampoline. That's how bouncy he is. Kevin Porter Jr. They got some young guns. Kevin Porter Jr., he had 50 points in the game last year, if I'm not mistaken. Alperen Sengun was a good draft prospect. He looks like he can be like a Nikola Jokic or a Enes Kanter or a Yusuf Nurkic type of guy. They got Daniel Tice. Of course, John Wall's not going to be playing. And Christian Wood is a really good power forward or a slash center for them. So they got some good guys on this Rockets team. They're a young team. They're probably not going to win a lot of games. They're probably going to be 32-50, but they're a young up-and-coming team that has a lot of good guys and some young guns. They drafted a lot of guys in this past draft. So I'm interested to see. You guys can comment down below or leave a rating and comment what you guys want to see in the preseason, what you guys are looking for. And also leave questions. I'm going to get to all these questions and people are leaving questions down on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys for that. We did reach 100 subscribers already. This is week 2 of being on YouTube. We already reached 116 subscribers. I appreciate you guys. The Wizards fan base is a huge fan base. DC above all. Appreciate you guys for the support, listening. Make sure you guys like the video. Also subscribe and share the videos as well. Hit the notification bell. I will be making a video right after the game tomorrow. So a post-game video. It will be up on YouTube, and then it will be up on iTunes or wherever you can get a podcast on Wednesday morning. You will get that podcast. But Tuesday night, I'll be putting out the reaction to the Rockets game. It's on League Pass, where you can listen to the radio on Team 980. So, all right, you guys, hail to the Wizards. You guys have a good one.